During disasters, people with disabilities get very much affected, almost 4 times more than the other persons. The landslides in Bududa in eastern Uganda is one great example where people with disabilities have been affected. This has propelled the Ugandan National Action on Physical Disabilities, UNAPD, to come up with an initiative to support people with disabilities in Bududa on how to prepare for such disasters.
This project that we are going to do with our partners from DRF, they are represented by Mr. Medicine over here and his team. So we have a project. This is going to be a 1-year project where we are looking at our people in Bududa, in those difficult to reach areas where we have landslides and we have all those things.
What happens if you look at a disabled person, a life of a disabled person in an area like Bududa when landslide hit that area of Bududa? Look at that, just as you, the media houses who are here, look at a disabled person's life. Someone using a wheelchair, someone using crutches, someone crawling down, and landslide that hit Bududa. Look at the life of the disabled person, that perspective. It becomes miserable, but nobody, not so many of us who want policy implementation, who want advocacy, who want awareness raising, can think about that in details. That's why UNAPD said no. Let's find out what's the life of a disabled person in an area which has been by landslides, like in Bududa in the eastern region of the country. So
during a press briefing held at UNAPD's office in Kampala, Apollo Mukasa, the executive director, says they conducted a baseline survey where they found out that there were so many gaps regarding people with disabilities. They want to build capacity among people with disability leaders, empower and also sensitize them on how to prepare for such climate changes that do affect their lives.
There's need to establish the life of the disabled person in an area which has been hit by landslides. That's why we came up with this intervention. So because of that, we couldn't just begin by mere enforcing advocacy work. We began by establishing what happens in Bududa, what's the life of the disabled person in Bududa, and did what we call a baseline survey. Baseline survey was done last year. It was done last year with the support of our different partners, DRF, who are part of us here today. The baseline survey, what is the importance of the baseline survey? Is to inform the government. When emergencies hit area, they very fast come in. You see international agents coming in very fast to show their support to government. Even they come in responding very positively to show their support to the citizens of the country. They come in very fast to give issues like relief services, issues like communication devices, issues like emergency aid. But I want to assure you, we have made a survey in that area. Very few of these partners who are in the Bududa, they have a knowledge, very few of them have knowledge and skills of interpreting disability, of knowing how do you handle a disabled person in that context. What does that mean? That means that the service they're offering the people in the Bududa, they're discriminatory. They're living out within we call the minority among the majority.
Medi Sengoba, the head of Disability Rights Fund in Africa, says UNAPD is the first organization to come up with a project on climate change. This entire project is funded by Disability Rights Fund and it's run for 1 year.
Wherever you get climate change problems, people with disabilities will be probably 4 times affected in a number of ways. So as a fund, it's one of our core strategic areas of funding. And sadly, I must say, in Africa, this is the first project we received. So we work in 4 countries in Africa, but for some reason, maybe people don't see the connections between climate change and disability and vulnerability. And I'm so glad that this baseline was done in a place like Bududa, where, of course, you've seen a number of salient issues being portrayed.
Hard water floods in the Kampala here. Floods. Some of us who have lived in here in the Bwaise, Kalere, and the Kasubi suburbs, you know when Kampala floods, you know what it means. It's to the extent that even you move in a vehicle, you can hardly cross the road. What of someone using a wheelchair, who has no car, who has no vehicle, or is using a wheelchair, or moving on the crutches? How does someone, he or she, cross the floods of Kampala that has flooded? Some of us in floods, we can think of not even coming to office.
$20,000 US has been invested in this project, which is to run strictly for 1 year purposely to empower people with disabilities on how to prepare for disasters in Bududa district. Abdul Latif Mukasa, Record TV, Kampala.